going on, everybody? I'm your host, gamestradamus, and welcome to a little Bad Company 2. Today we're going to be playing a little squad deathmatch on Island Inocentes. I believe is how it's pronounced. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're not familiar with squad deathmatch, what it is they pretty much pit 4 squads of 4 against each other, and it's kind of a race to see who can get 50 kills first. Now, unfortunately for me, I don't really have a squad. I have one other guy who sucks, and he leaves the game after a few minutes. So it's pretty much me alone versus 3 other squads, and I almost win. So it's a good match. Anyway, I just wanted to go over a couple tactics about squad deathmatch and kind of show you what it is if you're not familiar with it or haven't picked up Bad Company 2 yet. So the maps are a lot smaller than they are in Conquest or Rush. It's kind of like one capture segment a size worth if you're familiar with Rush. So they are a lot tighter. The action's a lot more fast-paced. It's a little more Call of Duty-ish, I guess you could say. Especially the spawning system can get pretty frustrating, especially when you don't have a squad like me. Because you can spawn on your squad mates or you spawn randomly. And if you have no squad mates to kind of look around the map and see what's going on, then you're just at the mercy of randomly spawning. And what I find that happens in squad deathmatch is that in order to perhaps cut down on people camping in the corners of maps, the game will randomly spawn people pretty much all over the place on all the outskirts. So even if you're at like the tips of the maps and you think you're safe, there'll all of a sudden be somebody who just spawns right behind you, which you'll see in a little bit. This game's a little longer than the like 10 or 11 minutes that I can post on YouTube, so I cut it up like the other Bad Company videos I have. But when you get a bad spawn in this game, you're kind of screwed. Especially when you have no squad mates to kind of like jump to or get backup. You can just kind of get in these little spots where you spawn a couple times in a row and you're just like right in front of a whole squad, which totally sucks and happens to me kind of in the end of this game, right when it's like the pinnacle point in trying to win. But oh well. And so as you can see here, I'm trying to get this guy and someone shoots me, but I'm trying to run away. And whoop-de-doo, this dude spawns right behind me in this little corner up there, which is like this little spot before you're out of bounds, which is just ridiculous. That should not happen at all. But that's pretty much my only complaint for squad deathmatch. Now this level is probably my favorite level out of the squad deathmatch levels. They're all pretty cool in their own little sense, but this one is a little more open, I guess, but it's also bright, and you can really see everybody, which is nice. That tank almost blocked me. Sorry, buddy. So, anyway, when I'm playing squad deathmatch, I definitely like to stick to the outskirts. And really, when you play any first-person shooter, for that sake, you really want to stay towards the outside and use a wall, or in Call of Duty or Modern Warfare, like claymores or whatever. I wish they had claymores in this game. Unfortunately, they don't. But you definitely want to use your surroundings kind of as a defender. So if you're like posted up in corners or on the outskirts, you can kind of use the wall to block people, and then you can focus on only maybe a couple different paths of trying to watch for people. That's definitely the key in going for long kill streaks and staying alive is kind of posting up in the right areas. And it's really important in this game just because everything's destructible, and all of a sudden you'll spawn in the middle of the map and there's like a tank on you, and unfortunately it can level everything around you. So for me, I definitely like to use the assault class when I'm playing squad deathmatch. This game's really fun for sniping, but because the maps are a lot smaller, it's a lot more fast-paced, and I just get a lot more kills with the assault class than I do sniping. And right here I'm using the M4, which is probably my favorite gun in squad deathmatch. It's got a good rate of fire, but it's also pretty accurate if you just tap fire, which is how I recommend to shoot pretty much every gun in this game. You know, don't just like when you see somebody lay on the trigger and start spraying, because it will spray and get all over the place. These guns are not as accurate as other first-person shooters, which makes it more accurate. Spliffadelphia, that was good. That's like the Flippadelphia for those of you who have ever seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's a silly show. But anyway, and for me, back to the assault rifle class, not to get too far off subject. The ACOG scope is definitely the way to go. You know, I don't use an ACOG or anything like that in Call of Duty or Modern Warfare. I'm definitely a red dot kind of guy. But in this game, ACOG is very key. Because the maps are bigger and people can hide a lot easier, the ACOG's really nice. It's a little, perhaps, harder to get used to just because the sight in it's kind of that little arrow instead of like a dot or something else. But it's definitely the way to go. Now, I like to sit by little buildings like I am here. I like to stay on this kind of side for some reason, mostly because I can spot those guys that are up on that other little hill, which is also a great spot to sit. And if you kind of come up here to the right, I don't do it, but if you went up to the right here, right where I'm standing, there's a way you can jump up on this little path and climb up on the opposite hill on the far side and get up top. That's a really tricky spot. You kind of have to go out of bounds for a few seconds to run to it, so you might not think it's there, but it's there. And if you're a sniper, that's definitely the place to sit in this level. But, you know, as you can see here, I'm just trying to post up, like, kind of in a cornerish area. So, you know, I know no one's going to come up behind me. So I can kind of spot each side. And because I'm playing against squads, they're most likely going to spawn back to their squad mates. So if I can kind of keep them at bay, you know, I can usually post up by one of these buildings for at least a few kills before I have to relocate. So that's good tactics to keep in mind. Also, another thing, which is kind of a basic tactic, but always stay reloaded, like I am right there, you know. If you have a second, you know, where you think you're safe or whatever, or after you kill somebody, always make sure you reload immediately. You do not want to get caught in a firefight with somebody and all of a sudden run out of ammo and die because, you know, you just can't shoot them. That's a huge key. And also another good thing to do in first-person shooters is turn your brightness and contrast up just a little bit, or to where you feel comfortable. You can just spot people a lot easier. And you'll notice every once in a while, I'll sometimes just like sit for a second and just stand still, like right here or whatever. That's just kind of me scanning the map for movement, which is definitely the way to do it. You just kind of have to post up and hopefully just spot somebody moving. And it's also key for you to kind of stay still for the same respect, because that's how other people are going to spot you as well. So always stay reloaded and just watch for movement and make sure that you stay as still as possible. Another key thing with the assault class, and is why I'm playing it now because I'm totally alone, is the fact that you can replenish your ammo. So you pretty much have unlimited ammo. That's key. That's pretty much probably the main reason I play the assault class, is because of that. I hate running out of ammo, especially if you're in a good location and you have to like go out and try to find someone else's loadout with like a handgun. That's no bueno. Also, if you have a squad of 4, a great tactic to use in squad deathmatch that I really like is to split your squad up into 2 groups of 2, or even split them up into 4, however you guys are, depending on how strong your squad is, and kind of sit in the middle of the map, but get into buildings that are across from each other. That way you can kind of use the crossfire to better cover each other, and you'll have way better angles and a view of the map. I find that most squads will spawn together into groups of 4, and you'll just have a way better chance of taking them out, because it'll throw them off that you guys are like split up. So just a couple things to keep in mind in this match. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Unfortunately, I do not pull this game out. I got stuck right before this in a little spawn trapping. I spawned in the middle of the map like 3 or 4 times, and unfortunately got picked off like 1 second after I spawned, which is really frustrating, but I'll get you bastards next time. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. I will definitely be bringing more Bad Company soon. So I will talk to you then. Take care. Subscribe for Kermit.